Hi everybody, Dave Milliken here. I've got another tip today about helping you get your chord changes faster. Today I'd like to talk about using a metronome. That's going to help you play all at the same speed and then gradually be able to increase that speed. This works for chord changes or anything else that you're trying to play on any instrument. So let's say you're trying to play a song that sounds like this. What I hear a lot from students, especially people who are starting out, is they'll play the song and it will sound like this. Because they're having trouble moving from chord to chord. So there's all these pauses in between the chords. So how you fix that problem is first to slow down in order to get rid of the pauses. So, something like this. Or if you try it that slow and it's still problematic, you're still pausing, go even slower. As slow as you need in order to get it, to a constant beat. So let's get into some details about how we would go about doing that. So the first step is finding your speed goal. And the speed of the music, or the tempo, is measured in beats per minute, BPM for short. So you can use the tap function on a metronome to measure the speed. You won't find this on an old school metronome, but any good metronome with a digital display or a metronome app that you would get for your phone should have a tap function. There's lots out there that do anyway. You can also find tap tools online. Just Google tap BPM. You'll see a bunch of options. So as you're listening to some music, if you tap the beat using the tap button, it will give you a readout of how fast you're tapping. So like this. And you'll notice you have to tap it a few times, like maybe 6 to 8 times before you'll start getting a steady readout. And that number you see might fluctuate a little bit, but you just go for the average of what you're seeing. And then once you've got that set into the metronome, it'll, you can play it back at that speed. So if I want to figure out my speed goal for the song I was playing earlier, I'm going to listen to the song. I'm going to tap my foot, or clap my hands, or bang my head until I'm confident I've got the beat. Then I'm going to tap that on the metronome. So I'm getting a goal speed of 84. So the next thing you want to do is find your current speed that you can play the song properly without any breaks or pauses. We hear the song a certain way, you're so used to hearing it at that speed. It's hard to try to go slower, but it's something that good musicians learn how to do to be able to play something at whatever speed they want. So let's say you figured out the speed that you can play it through, slower than the real song, maybe. So again, feel that beat, tap that in your metronome. Okay, 63-ish. Now I'm going to play that back and make sure that I can actually play the song at that speed. And if that was hard and you need to slow it down more, do that. So you'll be able to find a speed that you can play it through steadily without a break. That's the hard part, actually. Once you've got that accomplished, you have your set speed, then you'll be able to start increasing that speed. So the most important thing to do while you're increasing your speed is to go very gradually, and at each step along the way you make sure you're doing it perfectly before you increase further. The mistake most people make is they try to go too much too soon. So just make sure that it's always good, no pauses, still perfectly with the metronome along the way. So if I start where I was before, you make sure you can do it at this speed. Then the next step, pump it up a little bit. Let's say. Just a little bit at a time. You play it through a couple of times at the new speed, make sure that it's solid before you go further. And the amount that you should be increasing, about 5% of whatever speed you're at. If you look at one of those old school metronomes, you will see that in the 40s range it's going up by 2s, and you get to the 60s it's going up by 3s, in the 80s it's going up by 4s. It's a good guide as to how much you should be increasing the metronome speed each time. So the other thing that's really important is to track your speed. If you've been working on the song for a bit and you've managed to increase your speed, say you started at 60 and now you're playing it at 72, great. When you come back to practice that song again, tomorrow or the next day, remember that today you worked at it quite a lot to get it up that high. So when you're coming in cold the next time, don't expect to start at that top speed that you achieved, but move it down a little bit. Maybe you start at 63 and then you try to push it past 72 the next time. But just always make a note of what that high speed is and maybe the date. You'll get motivated by seeing the progress, and you'll also know sort of the range of speeds that you should be practicing when you start working on that tune. So each time that you practice the tune, you should be working through a range of speeds, trying to first warm up and then get past your top speed of the last time you practiced. All right, folks, I hope that helps you out. I know some people don't like using a metronome, but if you can get used to it, it will really help you in your pursuit of faster speeds, be that for chord changes or anything else that you're doing on the guitar. Thanks a lot for watching. So if I want to figure out my speed goal for the song I was playing earlier, I'm going to listen to the song.
Oops, sorry.